Hey guys, what's up? This is Shivadi from eGadgets for you, and this is a very new Samsung Galaxy S7 2016 model, the most recently launched handset from Samsung in India. It was announced sometime around the mid of December of 2015 and was available in China. Of late, it has found its market and release in India. On a physical overview, this particular handset of Galaxy A7, the 2016 model, also referred to as a A7S, is premiumly built. It's loaded with metal and covered with Gorilla Glass 4 protection in the front and the back. On the top, you have the slot for the second nano SIM and the noise cancellation speakers. Towards the front end, you have the earpiece, the sensors, the 5 megapixel shooter, the 5.5 inch of screen beneath it. At the bottom, you have the home button, the multitasking button and the back button, both of which are LED lit. Just at the bottom, you will find the USB connector point or the charger point, the 3.5mm jack input point, speaker grills, microphone. On the left hand side of the phone, you find the volume rockers. The buttons are built with metal and are very nicely crafted. It looks really premium in your hands and very sophisticated to use. On the right hand side, you will find the power on and off button or the screen lock button, beneath which you will find the SIM tray to insert the first Pro SIM and the micro SD card. Towards the rear end, you have a 13 megapixel shooter with LED flash, autofocus, Samsung branding. This particular Samsung Galaxy S7S weighs something around 172 grams or 6.07 oz. It's very premium, feels royal to the hand. On the swipe down menu, you find the auto brightness sensors present over there. You will find the toggle menus that are quite similar to any Samsung premium handsets. Going ahead, in the settings department, it uses the same TouchWiz UI of Samsung, and also there is no exceptional. With the about device, you find this particular version runs an Android version of 5.1, which is the latest version of Lollipop. Mind you, Samsung always has a tendency to get the latest OS in its flagship models. So let us wait for the new flagship of S7 or S7H to get the Marshmallow update. But hopefully this particular device will also get the Marshmallow update in the near future. Storage wise, there is no shortage. You get a 16 gigs of internal memory. You get a micro SD card that supports up to 128 gigs. Additionally, the Samsung Galaxy S7S does support USB OTG, as a result of which you can store your files, your movies and stuff like that in your pen drive and get to use it along with the OTG. As is quite evident in the new TouchWiz UI of Samsung, you do not get a lot of bloatwares, but you get the Opera Max, My Galaxy, USB backup and S-Help pre-installed in this particular device. You also get the radio, so that does comes in handy for person who are inclined towards FM stations and all. The rest of the things are pretty much similar to any other premium handset of Samsung, like the backlit back button and the multitasking button. You get a lot of options. Then again, you get this multi-window gestures, pressing which you can easily toggle between the menus and divide your screen into two halves and use them for your purposes whatsoever. Multitasking is obviously quite light in the peak handset of Samsung Galaxy A7, sporting a 5.5 inch of display. In the display department, the Samsung Galaxy A7S or the 2016 model from Samsung Galaxy A7 sports a Super AMOLED touch screen with 16 of color. It has a 5.5 inch of screen display. It supports a resolution of 1080 into 1920 pixels. It has a pixel density of 401. So those are huge figures. Mind you, it additionally has a Gorilla Glass 4 protection at the front, a result of which you get that bit of extra protection for your screen, but it's a finger magnet. You do get a lot of finger impressions at the back as well as at the front of this particular device. If I guide you through some of the pictures or some of the display angles or some of the color contrast saturations over here, you will find that the display is a great deal. It's bright, it's quite adaptive, it's super for human eyes, and also adjectives just fall off short from a display perspective in this particular device of A7S. Let's move to specs. In the Antutu benchmark test, the Samsung Galaxy S7S scores a very healthy 35,547. Mind you, it's a great score. let's dig deep into the device info. You find that this particular handset runs on a Exynos 7580 octa chipset. Mind you, this particular chipset is for the Indian variation of the phone. Additionally, it also comes with a Qualcomm Snapdragon 615 chipset outside India as well. In the processor department, it has two quad cores on Cortex A53 with clock speed of 1.2 GHz and 1.5 GHz respectively. Additionally, it has an octa-core processor on Cortex A53 with 1.6 GHz speed also. It supports a GPU of Mali T720MP. It has a 3 gigs of RAM. Those are huge figures. Mind you, performance in this particular Samsung Galaxy S7 is mind-blowing. You want to use this particular device for browsing the net? You just name it and it will do it for you. The clock speed of the processor, the chipsets, the RAM does comes in handy in loading very high content websites as well. Browsing the net, reading, viewing angles are superb. Pinch to zoom works like butter. The touch sensation in this particular device is mind-blowing. Obviously, very heavy pictures, it will just load so fast and so easy. So that way, it is a pure delight for your eyes and your hand while browsing the net, reading stuffs on the internet, or browsing through your office files also. You want to play a game of Asphalt 8 or any high-end game in this particular device? You just name it. It will perform on its own. Mind you, this particular handset made out of metal and protected by Corning Gorilla Glass 4 protection at the front as well as at the back. Then also it did not exhibit a heating issue. Obviously on very high usage and on high gaming also, it may tend to get a bit of warm, but then again it's quite understandable and quite adjustable at the end of the day. Obviously it's a heaven for game lovers. 5.5 inch of screen with a Super AMOLED display does adds up to the wow factor. It's wonder. The Samsung Galaxy S7s has a 3300 mAh of battery sealed at the back. It's a great from a juice department of the battery. Mind you, with very heavy gaming and obviously with a Super AMOLED display, a very vibrant display I must say, and a lot of features to use in this particular handset. You cannot just resist using your handset for a longer period of time. Then also the battery does not drain before 1.5 days. Mind you, I am saying on very high usage with 3G as well as with Wi-Fi, heavy gamings and multitasking also in this particular device. It's a wonder. It's a great life, a great boost from a battery perspective in this particular device too. A big difference with the S7 of 2015 model and that of the 2016 is that it supports a primary nano SIM as well as micro SD card, and as well as the secondary nano SIM slot is over here. So that way you get to use dual SIM and additional micro SD card in this particular device. That is a huge boost for any users. 3 gigs of RAM does adds up to the wow factor of heavy storage in this particular device also. Pre-install apps like the S Health does take good care of your health, and also it's a very important app for your daily usage also. Additionally, you get this smart manager that optimizes the performance of your handset with a single click. Then again, you have the FM radio that comes in handy for radio lovers and the FM lovers as well. So this particular device, along with the entertainment purpose, calling purposes, and also a lot of other features, you get to use this particular handset to a great deal. The keypad, numpad are so wonderfully spaced out. You can easily type in numbers, figures also over here. So it's a delight to use this particular handset for any users of any age. The handset does have a wonderful sweet sound to it also. Even on high volume, you will see that you get a good amount of adjustment in the sound department. It's quite good, not the greatest or the loudest at the end of the day, but it's very sweet and it gives you a 3D feel in the sound department also. But then again, the speaker grills are present at the rear end. So if by mistake you put a hand over there, the sound just disappears over there. So without that, it's a great deal from a speaker perspective also. Finally, let's go to the most important aspect for any handset is the camera. The Samsung Galaxy S7s has a 13 megapixel shooter at the back with LED flash. it has a focal length of f by 1.9. Similarly, for the front camera also, it has a 5 megapixel shooter at the front with f by 1.9 aperture. It has a capability of shooting video at 1080p at 30 frames per second. So those are very decent combinations. Let's dig deep into the settings. You find that it tells about the video size, the grid lines, location tags. So the normal settings that you find in any camera whatsoever, only the UI is different. Over here you can toggle with effects, the timers, the flash, and also the aspect ratio of 16:9 or 9:6 aspect ratios. Additionally, you get the modes. Over here, like as always with any premium handset from Samsung, you are now getting the auto, the pro mode, the panorama, continuous shot, HDR rich tone, the night mode, and the ability to download all the other modes. My personal favorite is always the auto mode, as because with this decent camera you get a lot of customizations and a lot of features to get that perfect snap for your phone. Let me just guide you through some of the pictures I've taken using the camera of this particular device. In ample daylight condition, mind you, it gives you a mind-blowing output from a camera perspective. You see that text and each and everything, even on very high zoom, appears to be so crisp and so clear. The detailing and the color combinations of any object is very vividly described in any of the pictures taken by the rear camera of this particular handset. In night conditions, on artificial light and indoor shooting, it does not fails. The flash is a very powerful one. It makes sure that you get that object and get your perfect snap. Mind you, in utter darkness where there was no source of light whatsoever, the flash does comes in handy. As is evident in this particular picture, it was so pitch dark, but then again the objects came out perfect with the help of the flash in this particular camera. In proper lighting conditions, it's a delight to shoot pictures. See the clarity and the color contrast of this particular picture. It's mind-blowing. Similarly, the curves, edges, color, saturations, contrast, each and everything can be vividly depicted from this particular object as well. The camera is a pure delight. It really is. It also has a digital image stabilization, so that does comes in handy. The front camera also never fails. On perfectly low light condition, it took such a wonderful selfie with the 5 megapixel shooter. Mind you, it's a great experience with the camera in this particular phone. My verdict for the Samsung Galaxy S7s 2016 model is definite thumbs up. First of all, it's priced around 35,000 INR. It sports a uni-metal body, Corning Gorilla Glass 4 protection in the front as well as at the back. It has a very good camera. It has a great Super AMOLED display. It has 3 gigs of RAM. It has internal storage, ability to add a micro SD card up to 128 gigs, supports OTG, mind-blowing display, color crisp, saturation levels are just perfect, and multitasking is a pure delight. Browsing the net, reading stuffs, watching movies, sound output is a definite thumbs up. What more can you ask for in this particular handset? The 3300 mAh of battery adds a lot of juice in the battery department. Any task that is being thrown at it just outperforms and performs to a great deal. It's mind-blowing. No serious heating issues are visible in this particular handset. Then also, if I dig deep from some of the con perspective, I'll say that it does not have an IR blaster, which they could have easily included in this particular handset. It has a sealed battery at the back, so that may be a bit of an issue for some users, but it's not at all an issue for me. It's very hard to find the cons in this particular handset. Each and everything that I have tested and have seen is just a great deal in this particular handset. It's a great work with the new TouchWiz UI. Yeah, maybe it's not loaded with the latest OS, but then also soon it will get the latest Marshmallow update as well. That's it guys. Here are my opinion and my views regarding Samsung Galaxy S7 S series S of 2016 model. Let me know your views and opinions in the comment section below. Hope this video helps. Stay subscribed to my channel to catch more interesting updates from me. Bye for now.